So during this weekly fragrance rotation, we actually did have a pretty eventful week, so stay tuned to find out what fragrances I chose to wear throughout the week. Hey, what's going on? Hunter here and welcome back to my channel. And if you are new, what I do is I make fragrance related content. So if you love fragrances, go to hit that subscribe button down below and also be sure to follow my fragrance Instagram page. I'll leave all that information in the description below as well. But that's right guys, I am back with another weekly fragrance rotation. I know it has been a few weeks since my last one. I did actually skip, I think 2 weeks, and I've been away for a little bit, just going through some things and stuff like that. But I am back and I hope all of you guys have been doing good. I know a lot of you guys have been interacting with my community page where I have been posting my scent of the day most of the time on there. So shout out to all you guys in the comments on those posts. But that's right guys, today is all about my weekly fragrance rotation. Now, if you are new to this series that I do, we pretty much talk about what fragrances I chose to wear on each day, the kind of weather and temperature it was, how many sprays, and of course if we got any compliments or not on that particular fragrance. But let's go ahead and start the week off on Sunday per usual. So on Sunday, it was in the high 70s, but it was a pretty rainy day. We got a lot of kind of crappy weather on that day. And I actually decided to pull out one of my new kind of beast mode oud fragrances that is just a powerhouse. And of course, I'm talking about Moresque Al Andalus. Now, I think that's how you pronounce it. I know one of you guys in the comments on my scent of the day post actually talked about this fragrance. So shout out to you, I think Navy. If you're watching this, man, that was an awesome story about this fragrance. But yeah, this fragrance is, like I said, a oud dominant fragrance, and it's very, very strong. It does actually open up with a nice ginger, kind of zesty spiciness. It has a ton of black pepper as well. And the person I was with, because I was out shopping for most of the day, I did go 5 sprays as well. So actually not too heavy like I usually do. You guys know me, I do spray a little bit more than the average person. As you guys know, I did a poll about that. And most of you guys watching usually spray like 1 to 5 sprays. And yeah, I spray anywhere from like 6 to 10 is my sweet spot. But you guys know that if you watch these. But on that day, I did go 5 sprays, like I said, out shopping. The person I was with was just saying I smell like pepper, like black pepper throughout the entire day. And she was actually kind of saying that it's almost making her sneeze and stuff like that because, like I said, it's very spicy, very oudy, heavy on like a zesty ginger note. But all in all, I love this fragrance. And if you haven't heard of the house of Moresque, they are, I wouldn't say new, but they are kind of like a hidden gem niche house, but they are pretty pricey, even though the quality is definitely there and the performance is there, especially with this one here. Yeah, besides that, I was in a store and I had this girl walk by me and she was like, I think she said something like, something about my fragrance, but it wasn't necessarily a compliment. It was something like Febreze or something smells like Febreze, something along those lines. But I think it was in like a negative manner because obviously oud-based fragrances are not crowd pleasing at all. And this one definitely isn't as well. All right, so heading into Monday now. So on Monday, I am mostly at work for the majority of the day, and actually decided to pull out one of my first niche fragrances in my entire collection, and a niche fragrance I would recommend to anybody that's actually getting into the niche genre of perfumery. Of course, I'm talking about Mancera's Cedar Boise. Now, I decided to pull this one out because the weather was in like the high 70s, even though it was kind of like a gloomy, cloudy day. But for some reason, Cedar Boise I have not pulled out in a very long time. So I was kind of craving it, the fruitiness to this fragrance. And yeah, I just absolutely love Cedar Boise. I have been eyeballing the intense Cedar Boise, which is of course a straight to parfum. So let me know down below if you actually own the intense version of this and how they compare and what are your thoughts on that one, because I might be getting a bottle of that very, very soon because I just love the scent DNA. How I would pretty much describe it is like a basket of fruits, like very juicy fruits. No fruit in particular, just a bunch of fruits all combined together. And then in the dry down, of course, you do have the cedar wood and stuff like that. It does get compared to like Creed Aventus, but I don't see any similarities whatsoever. I don't really get pineapple, I don't really get a smoky birch or anything along those lines. But all in all, Cedar Boise is a fantastic fragrance. I did go 8 sprays of it and got no compliments on that day either, but I definitely enjoyed it on Monday. All right, so for Tuesday now, also at work for most of the day. And when I woke up in the morning, because I do wake up very, very early, Probably a time that nobody should be waking up, to be honest with you. But on that morning, it was so foggy outside when I was driving. You just could not see traffic whatsoever. But later on in the day, it was very kind of hot, like in the mid 80s. So yeah, pretty decent weather. And I actually decided to pull out a fragrance that I just got in, my first time wearing it. And it is from an Inspired by House. Of course, I'm talking about Scentual Obsessions, and this is actually Pinnacle. Now, this fragrance is actually inspired by Rose de Parfum's Apex, which, to be honest with you, I have never seen a clone or a version of Apex yet. This is the first one. And wow, Kevin over at Scentual Obsessions absolutely knocked it out of the park with this fragrance, guys. I gotta tell you that right now. If you're looking to get Apex, you don't really wanna spend all that cash on it because obviously it is a very expensive fragrance. Or if you've tried it before and you love it, I highly recommend checking out Pinnacle by Scentual Obsessions. It is pretty much almost to a T identical to Apex. When I got this package in with a few fragrances from them, right away I knew this one and another one. I was like, yeah, that is Apex for sure. But before looking up any notes or anything like that, it was random. I knew immediately what this was cloning. And yeah, it's very good. If you aren't familiar with Apex though, it's a very green, kind of smoky, chypre fragrance, highly concentrated with the cypress note. It's very masculine. And yeah, this one, I did test them side by side and you can barely tell the difference, especially at the price you can get these at. It's a must. Definitely check out Scentual Obsessions. And actually, this house was the first clone house I've ever actually kind of heard about or knew about or anything like that towards the beginning of my YouTube journey or my fragrance journey in general. But on that day, on Tuesday, I did go 8 sprays of this stuff. It lasted the entire workday without a problem. Got no compliments though, but all in all, a great version of Rose de Parfum's Apex. All right, so on Monday, also at work all day long, and I chose to wear one of the best soapy fragrances on the market. If you're looking just for a very expensive soap smelling fragrance that smells clean, luxurious, and just high quality, you have to check this one out. I have in my hand. And of course, I'm talking about Prada L'Homme. Now, this one is just an iconic fragrance, especially in the fragrance community. Most people know about Prada L'Homme as that soapy, kind of clean fragrance, but how I would describe it, it is very clean, very soapy. It smells like the most expensive soap bar you can ever get. That's pretty much how this actually comes across to me. Heavy on iris, and iris is usually powdery, lipsticky. I don't really get a lipstick kind of quality to the iris in this one. Just very powdery and just very well done. I have to give credit to Prada for making such a phenomenal fragrance. This is by far my favorite from the entire house as well. Now on that day, it was actually in the high 80s, almost 90 degrees if I'm not mistaken. I did go 8 sprays of this to work. Now I do gotta let you know, because this one is an eau de toilette concentration, so it isn't highly concentrated, but when I sprayed my clothes, my shirt, I think I was wearing like, I believe like a beige or a pink shirt actually on that day, and it actually stained my shirt. The 2 spots I sprayed it, it actually left a stain mark. Surprised me because the juice inside isn't really dark or anything like that, and it is an EDT concentration, but I don't know, I guess this stuff is actually pretty concentrated because I never had a problem with any other fragrance on that particular shirt besides Prada L'Homme. So yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. But on that day at work on Wednesday, I got no comments on Prada L'Homme. Even though it is a very crowd-pleasing kind of fragrance, even though some people might not even think it is a fragrance, they might think it's just like laundry detergent or just like soap you just showered in the morning if someone smells you after that. But all in all, a fantastic soapy clean fragrance by Prada. All right, so wrapping my work week off on Thursday, so pretty much I work as well again all day long. And I decided to pull out kind of a dumb reach, but even though this is my favorite fragrance of all time in my entire 250 plus collection, of course I'm talking about Armav's Club de Nuit Intense Man. This is the original EDT. Now, I'm just joking about being my favorite fragrance, even though this is one of my most worn fragrances since I've gotten the bottle. I just always reach for this one, just for a dumb reach if I want to kind of be crowd pleasing and of course have that Aventus DNA, which this one definitely does. It actually has a smoky batches of Aventus. So if you like smokiness, you like Aventus, definitely check this one out because you can't really get smoky Aventus anymore in the 21 or 2022 batches, which is definitely unfortunate because I love that smoky birch in Aventus, or of course Club de Nuit Intense Man. Now, on that day, it was also high 80s, almost 90 degrees. Went with my usual 8 sprays of this one. And trust me, you do not need 8 sprays or nowhere near that with Club de Nuit Intense Man, because this stuff is a nuclear powerhouse. And this has actually got me in trouble at work before when I kind of oversprayed it a little bit. Thankfully on that day, didn't really get that much attention, no comments or anything like that. Even though most of the time when I pull this one out, people lose their mind over this fragrance. Even though a lot of times it is mostly guys just wondering what I'm wearing, where can I get that, I need to own that. Because it does kind of have that kind of masculine alpha male kind of vibe to it that Aventus obviously also has, but this one just amps it up a little bit more. Now like I said, when I want that Aventus DNA, especially for just going to work, I'd rather wear this than go through my 19S31 batch of Aventus. It just makes sense when I'm not trying to impress anyone or anything like that. Of course, this does not have the quality of Aventus, but all in all, a fantastic cologne. Alright, so headed into Friday. So on Friday, I did just run a couple errands. I got a haircut, as you can see right now. I'm not wearing a hat, I actually have my hair down at the moment, but I had a much needed haircut on that day. And of course, when you're getting a haircut, you are in close quarters with whoever's cutting your hair, obviously. So I wanted to wear something a little bit more crowd pleasing and not offensive or anything along those lines. And of course, I had to pull out Tumi's Atlas. Now, this is probably my favorite or my second favorite from the entire Tumi line. This one actually got me into the note of ginger, which if you know me, I didn't like the note of ginger before, like during my beginning of the fragrance journey and stuff like that with like L'Homme Ultime. Wasn't the biggest fan of it, but this one definitely turned me around on the ginger note and I absolutely love it now. And the performance with Atlas is just so incredible. Way better than it should be from a freshie like this scent profile. So hats off to Tumi for making a good performing fragrance. I believe they have some kind of like patented DNA with this one that makes it actually last longer. So it definitely works. I gotta tell you that right now. But on that day to go run errands to get my haircut, I did go 8 sprays of this. I got no comments either, not even from the person cutting my hair. I guess they didn't like the fragrance, but yeah, no, I'm just joking. Just not everyone's really comfortable giving comments, so it's not the biggest deal. If you don't get comments, that's not really my main priority at all. I wear fragrances for myself. If someone wants to comment me on my fragrance, great, I appreciate it, but at the end of the day, it's not the most important thing. So that's what I wore on Friday to run errands and my haircut is Atlas. So wrapping the week off on Saturday. So on Saturday, I actually went to an amusement park. Of course, I'm talking about Cedar Point, which is somewhat close to where I live, so I had to go. Of course, Cedar Point is known as one of the best amusement parks in the entire world. People come across country to go to Cedar Point, so haven't been in a while, and I love roller coasters, so I thought it was a good day, especially because the weather was nice as well. Not too hot and obviously not too cold. On that day, though, I did actually pull out well, not a new fragrance because it actually is a decant, but I just got it in, I think the day before I went to Cedar Point, so I kind of wanted to test it out. And this one gets a lot of hype in the community. People absolutely love this fragrance, and I'll let you know if I do as well. But of course, I'm talking about Paco Rabanne's Invictus, the original Invictus in this 10 ml decant, as you can see. So Invictus is a fragrance I never owned, and I actually think I've never smelled before, but on that day, I did go very heavy on the trigger with this one. I think I went 15 sprays because, of course, I'm at an amusement park outside for 12 hours all day long. I wanted it to last, and I went overboard. I sprayed behind my knees, sprayed my clothes, sprayed all over my arms, my neck. Honestly, when I'm saying 15, I'm probably being a little bit more conservative. I might have even got up to around 20, so very heavy on the trigger with Invictus. And this one is, I think, usually known to be kind of like a above average performing fragrance. But for me, I did not get the best performance at all, to be honest with you. It kind of lasted maybe around 6 hours or so, which was very unfortunate, especially for the event that I was at. I wanted a fragrance that would actually perform. With this one, it does come across like kind of like bubblegum. It is a very kind of aquatic, very sweet as well. It's like a mixture of the two, which is kind of unique. It is a synthetic kind of molecule-based fragrance. There's nothing natural about Invictus at all. Now, I do have to say, though, it is very crowd-pleasing. I can definitely see women absolutely loving this fragrance. And I think that's what it's known for. I think it's more like a clubbing, kind of a crowd-pleasing woman magnet, which it definitely works in that. But for me, it's very synthetic. The performance was maybe average or maybe slightly below average. I don't know if I had to let this decant sit for a little bit, but yeah. Not the most impressed with Invictus. Now, Like I said, 15 sprays, got no compliment at Cedar Point. But yeah, that's what I wore to wrap off the week on Saturday. So that's gonna do it for my weekly fragrance rotation. As usual, let me know down below what you guys chose to wear throughout the entire week. I love seeing what you guys are reaching and pulling for. A lot of you guys have been kind of responding, like I said, in my community page. Let me know your scent of the day. And I just love that. I love interacting with all of you guys and kind of having a nice community going on here on the Fragrance Hunter YouTube channel. But leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe down below if you haven't already. And I'll catch all you guys in the next upload. Take care, everybody.